Hello everyone and welcome to Archaeogaming Museum, where today you join us for our first episode in the new Archaeogaming Let's Play series of Archeo Shinar. Now, this is a game that I've been wanting to play for a very long time. In fact, it is on a list of lots of games I've been wanting to play for a very long time. So, over a month ago now, I put out on Twitter a poll asking which one you think I should play next, and Archeo Shinar was the favourite, although I do plan on playing the others as well, which includes a game called Heaven's Vault, which is a game I initially started doing a Let's Play of on my other blog, Coffee Break Archaeology, and a few other really interesting archaeological and historical and heritage-based games. So they will all be coming soon, and of course we will be continuing our other videos. We've been looking at archaeology within RuneScape, but as a bit of a change for those videos, this is a nice change for me. Hopefully it's also a nice change for you. Now, in brief, Archeo Shinar is a archaeology time and resource management simulator, where you have to manage your workers and your resources and, well, your time in order to progress with the game. That's all I really know. I've seen a few brief episodes on playthrough, but I've not played it myself. I've not had a chance to yet. But I was initially captivated by the game by its sort of Steam page, which we'll have a look at now. So the main plan for today really is to probably just play through the tutorial, maybe a little bit further, if depends how long the tutorial takes to complete, but at least we will do the tutorial. So, on Steam then, explore the deepest caves with a cup of tea in your hand, reach the heart of the jungle with your finger on a globe. Send your highly educated employees to uncivilized tribes, and don't let them convince you it's a certain death. Worst case scenario, you can always hire new staff. So, already sounds tantalizing. So, at this point you may wonder, what on earth is this bloody project, Archeo Shinar? Because that's the full title. It is a turn-based strategy video game focused on people and resource management. It's not like other games about archaeologists doing astonishing stuff in ancient tombs or something like that, no. In this game, you will be the man behind the desk, or woman. We are talking about the lifestyle of a real archaeologist, the true horror of dealing with traumas and phobias. Not yours, you won't risk your own health, don't be silly. We have employees to do that. The true horror of dealing with their traumas and phobias. Do you see where I'm going with it? Imagine the bills from doctors for health compensations and the press. Press? Why the press, you ask? Yes, the press, because you know the press. They are just waiting there for unsatisfied explorer who would like to tell them how the archaeology truly works. And we do not speak about how it truly works. They can't know the ugly truth. Never. That's a lot of stress, right? Don't worry. As we already know, there is no better medicine than a cup of tea or a glass of gin. It's your call. Let's agree this is enough knowledge for now. More information could cause epistemophobia, and we don't want that, do we? Please enjoy the view from your train's window. Looking forward to our next meeting. Signed, your cuppy. Archeo Shinar is an economic-based, turn-based strategy game set in the world of archaeology. It blends a preparation period turn-based strategy with expeditions, real-time strategy, and unique gameplay, mix up with a lot of small stories and grotesque humour. Prepare and explore new fresh gameplay based on a mix-up of two genres, turn-based strategy and real-time strategy. Hire and care, find your best team and keep them in good shape, or not. You can always replace them. Money and reputation, try to get both. Find a balance between them and be the true winner. Collect and invest. There's no better way to get rich than by buying land. What's better than having land? Building your own buildings on your land. It's a great investment. Read and decide. Now and then you'll receive a small story to keep your experience interesting. Every time you have to decide, and every time it will have its consequences. Opponents and Vanessa. Meet memorable opponents you won't forget for a long time. And there's Vanessa. Such a shame she has a wig. Solo or with friends. Play solo or with up to 4 friends. Hot seat, but keep in mind that after the game, they won't be your friends anymore. Challenge reality. Check for facts, learn more about history, and try to find proof that the developers were wrong, because the world we are going to show you may make you challenge everything. Difficult subjects. Mental illness, addictions, thievery, slavery, paradigms, tribal mentality, corruption, pride, and murder. Economy and bankruptcy. Last but not least, do not bankrupt. It's like permadeath. You can withhold the salaries only for a certain time. After that, they will come. They will come and collect. And at the end, it has a mature content warning. So, supposedly being a archaeology simulator, there may be a few things for concern when reading its key features about fame and wealth and riches and things, which again, as we have stressed previously, is not the main purpose of archaeology. But hey, it's a game. Let's see how those themes are brought forward in the actual game and see how they conflict with the real world view of archaeology, both from the archaeologist and public perceptions. Now, I think that's quite enough waffling. Let's actually jump into the game. I didn't actually set this up, but let's actually, because it does have some nice music. So as I said, we'll start with the tutorial and see how far we get, and then we can take it from there. As I said, this is my first time playing it. I do like the little animated background. I think that's very cool. The little choo-choo train, the boat, and with the Roman Colosseum and Pyramid in the same backdrop. Obviously, those pesky archaeologists lifting up monuments and sticking them somewhere where they don't belong. Anyway, let's play the tutorial. Tutorial, the basics.
You through your first steps as an
archaeologist.
Today I want to show you some basics about your nearest future. But don't worry, this tutorial-like adventure will be quite short. If you are interested to gather more necessary information, we have prepared the Archaeopedia for people like you. Actually, I'm going to show you only beginner's moves. So if you want to learn more, please try to improvise or try Archaeopedia. Are you ready? Let's start. Yours sincerely, Puppy.
That's a nice little introduction. Create your character.
My friend, it's a pleasure to meet you. As you can see, we are in character creation section, where you can show us what do you look like and who you are. It would be great to get to know you in your full glory. Stay calm. We will explain everything slowly, step by step.
Okay.
Can we start now? Wonderful, my dear. I hope that your first and last names aren't some kind of toxic. Yeah? My name is Puppy.
Let's go for Archeo Museum.
Oh, so you are from that family. I'm pretty sure I know someone with that last name.
I doubt it.
Proud of you. But let's talk about a more important thing. I must know how you look. Unfortunately, I can't see you through the glass. So please, if it's not a problem, take me your portrait.
So caught up on
So now let
looks.
me help you with it a little portrait, you can change your hairstyle, your face, shade of your skin, and Whoa! I'm impressed! Good for you, my friend. Now at the end, we've got to do just one last thing. Choose your stamp. It will represent...
I think I'll stick with the hat.
Mainly on your letters and documentation, so you need to choose something that will also represent your personality.
Some of these faces are really weird, but I think that one probably best represents my personality. I know. I'm pretty pale. Slightly pale pink. Oh no, that's definitely me. That one's definitely me. There we go.
Well done. Now
I think I'll go for the sword. I think that's more me. Okay.
You have a great talent. Your portrait exposes your beauty. As you can see, we're in your office, which we will call the lobby. This is your space for work.
My office is not that tidy.
And the most important
Neither is any archaeologists.
You can find there statistics and charts. After that short introduction, we can start preparing your first expedition. Your main responsibility during the whole archaeological career is to prepare and host as many good archaeological expeditions as possible. In exchange for doing well, you will receive money and earn reputation in the academic world. Now, let's check available expeditions. Can you click on the proper page?
This very much has a Victorian, Edwardian feel of archaeology about it, I feel. As you notice, I've gone for the gin option rather than the tea option for today. And of course, it's not gin. It is lemonade. Just because I've already had quite a lot of tea today, and feeling something quite warm day as well, so needing something to cool down and quench the thirst. So, expeditions.
Oh, we're so lucky today. Here is one really nice expedition to try. So without unnecessary talk, let's open it. As you can see in the expedition window, there's a lot of information. You should check it when you need to decide which expedition is the best for you.
And I have gone with the American spelling of archaeology.
Now, let me explain. Required skill is the most important skill during random quests on the expedition. I will tell you more details about them later. Required explorers is the number of explorers you have to pick for your journey. A little bit lower you can see rewards, which you will receive for a successful expedition. Here you can win £3,200 and 3 points of reputation.
So we're definitely going for British, but they chose the American spelling for archaeology.
If you fail.
Okay.
Remember, the more demanding the expedition is, the higher the requirements and rewards are. What does that mean? The more reputation, money and recompense you can earn from an expedition, the difficulty level grows. If everything is clear now, we can begin.
About as clear as it's going to be, I think.
Now, you need to pick explorers. Who will go on this expedition? Later on, you will have more of them on your team. But now, let's check this Golden 5. Every explorer has its own statistics. To pick the best possible team for your expeditions, you need to check their current status to see if he or she will fit nicely. Now, let's check that first one from the left side.
So who do we have? Robert Mond.
Now you are familiar with the status of your explorer, you can close his statistics page and pick all 5 explorers for the expedition.
Let's not get too hasty, let's have a look through them. So Robert Mond, skill 14 archaeology, stimulants gin, salary £170. That's quite a lot, isn't it? You won't let me look at... I want to have a look at the others.
can proceed.
Didn't allow me to check out the others. I don't also want to check out one. How do I know they won't try and rob me or, you know, steal all those precious artifacts for themselves?
Okay, here we can take some items with us on the expedition. Later on, you'll be able to take any booster and any stimulant you wish. But for now, I suggest you take the shovel.
The key to...
It'll be handy. With this booster, all your explorers get +3 to archaeology. When you are ready, we can begin.
The shovel. The key to success is obtaining ancient artifacts. The key to success in obtaining ancient artifacts is digging. But not with your hands, silly. Use a shovel instead. It gives a better chance to find things hidden deep underground because it adds +3 to archaeology. So let's shovel the dirt in order to find some long forgotten treasure. Are you up for a challenge? What about a trowel? Not going to even give me a trowel yet? Oh, I do like this. I have to say, I really do like the art style and the animations. Those are quite cool.
Let's stop for a while. As you can see, we found a random quest for your explorers. The first quest on every expedition is harder, but you can be sure it's always based on required skill. If your chosen explorer has way too low skills based on expedition difficulty, then the failure is sure. I suggest to send Robert Mond on your first random quest and see how he deals with it.
Well, I guess that is a good test of the unknown.
Wow!
Ruthless
Wonderful.
success.
I didn't expect he would do so well.
You
Now
found a
we have
Greek
an
statue.
magnificent Greek statue.
That's wonderful. Greek statue. Black market value £750 to £150. Don't want to know the black market value though. Don't want to sell it on the black market, honestly. What kind of archaeologist do you take me for?
Okay, my friend. Now it's your turn to have some fun. We found a second random quest. So now I want you to pick an explorer for it and see if your choice is just. This quest requires geology, and you should choose an explorer with the highest geology skill to succeed. You can always check their statistics with the right click. Ready? Pick. Explore.
So now you let me look at it. It would be much easier if I was able to look at them before we set out. So who do we? Oh, we have Rita P. Wright. She seems to be our survival specialist. We have Leo Frobenius. Again, not a great geology skill. He seems to be our... Oh, actually, he's our survival specialist. Rita just seems to be a good all-rounder by the looks of it. And then Luigi Casnola. She also seemed... Who was the highest geology skill in? It does seem to be Rita. So let's choose Rita. See how... Unforgettable failure.
Sometimes your explorers have too low skills to succeed. That obviously was a setup to teach you a lesson.
Well, obviously.
Sometimes everybody fails. Thomas A. Edison said once, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
Well, at least that's a good bit of advice. Always good to stay positive.
If you fail a random quiz during the expedition, you don't lose what you have collected during other random quests. The success or failure of expedition depends on a balance between successful and failed random quest results. Okay, let's keep going.
Righty-ho. So, based on all these different artworks, where... Oh, we tried them too.
As you can see, this random quest is pretty uncommon because it requires 3 explorers. Normally it requires 1 or 2 of them. Also, it demands 2 different skills, so it will be much harder to end it successfully. But let's try it anyway.
Don't have much hope, but let's have a look. Failure.
Don't worry. Next time will be better. In a case where your skill isn't enough, but you lack only a little to succeed, there's a place for luck. When you're just 1 point too low, you still have a 99% chance of success, but under a certain range the chances drop to 0. Success is possible only if you lack no more than a few points. Now, let's check the final result of our expedition.
Failure.
Let's see. We ended up in failure, but you received the Greek statue artifact, which is very valuable. Also, you got £500 of recompense. Unfortunately, you didn't earn any reputation points, and Robert Mond has his first phobia, which we call fears. Fears permanently decrease your explorer's statistics, and there is no way to cure them. Maybe there will be a new branch of medicine in the future to deal with phobias, but unfortunately, there is no such thing right now. To sum up, it's not the worst, so do not feel down. You have great potential.
I guess there's some good life lessons there. Apart from the whole black market dealing in antiques thing.
Now, let's check all documentary and mail waiting for you in the lobby.
Let's head home. Ooh, a letter.
I received only 3 letters, so this will be quick. The thing is, you have to pay a salary to your employees. If you can't afford it, you can postpone it to the next round. But remember, you can't do it forever. 3 strikes to the end. This is our rule. Now, let's check the mail. Firstly, we have to pay £1,000 to your explorers, and we need to do it now. Also, you received £500 of recompense for that failed expedition, so your budget is still in good condition. For every expedition, you get a detailed report. You can access it in ranking and charts, or direct in the mail with the rewards.
Let's take a look. Summary, £170 for Robert Mond, Albert Clay £200, Luigi Cesnola £210, Leo Frobenius £210, and Rita B. Wright £210. Okay, we'll pay that salary. Expedition Award, you're awarded £500 and 0 points of reputation.
Ooh, that's interesting. Robert Mond has an uncommon request for you. He's asking for a raise, but he's not going to tell you the reasons. Sometimes during your archaeological career, you will have to deal with similar random problems by yourself, but this time I want you to accept his request. We can't lose him.
Robert Mond asked for a raise yesterday. You asked why, but there was no real answer to your question. Because stuff. Because life is expensive. Just because you said, I will consider it tomorrow. And guess what? Tomorrow is now. Go on, well, as he's the only one who actually succeeded in his mission, he's worth the money, I think.
We're done here. It's time to hire a new person to our team. Let's go to labour market. Good, my friend. This is our labour market. Currently, there is only one available archaeologist. I bet you know what to do.
Lewis Binford, Archaeology 14, History 24, Linguistics 24, Combat Capability 21, Geology 17, Survival 17, Exploration 18. Attitude insane. Well, that does help with archaeology. It really, really does. He has never seen a unicorn and drinks cold tea. I mean, if he drinks cold tea, is that the kind of person we want in our company? You know, representing archaeology? Guess I have no choice.
Our team grows, but we shouldn't just let it be. Let's head to the quarters and work on the explorers. We want them to be better, faster and smarter, don't we?
Well, be able to do their jobs better anyway. Don't want them too smart, otherwise they might seek other employment.
That reminds me of the good old time in dormitories. But anyway, let's get back to work. This is the place where you can look at your explorer's files and change them a little bit. You can improve their work attitude, make them learn something useful, or even fire them if you want. Let's take a look at Robert Mond's files. As you can see, he can attend a lesson that will improve his skills. Keep in mind that explorer's salary is based on his skills, which means that with every training, they will cost you more. This is your explorer, and I will not interfere. Choose the attribute which you want him to develop and confirm the training.
Wanted to be a private detective, but ended up here? Well, archaeologists are like the private detectives of the past. Okay, so what do you want to learn? Train +8. Geology, +7 history. I mean, we're kind of lacking in geology at the moment. So let's go for geology then.
Now we should work on Robert's attitude. There are two directions, security or efficiency. The more you push your explorer to his limits, the bigger the risk is of getting a fear. Go on, open the right tab.
Attitude.
The upper meter represents the efficiency boost. The lower meter shows the risk modifier. For now, Robert doesn't have any boosts or modifiers. He developed a fear in your last expedition, so let's try to make him more secure. As you can see, Robert is now cautious. It means that his efficiency is decreased by 3 to 7 points in every skill, but he gets 15% less probability to get a fear. It doesn't feel much, but if you want someone immune to fears, then you should combine the attitude with the right stimulant. Making someone more efficient will give you a boost to his skills, but the risk modifier is brutal.
Okay, interesting mechanic.
You can also fire unwanted.
Guess that kind of represents coping mechanisms with harder work.
You can't hire more than 10 explorers for now. You can change the limit by, for example, building a hotel. We should talk more about fears and stimulants. Let's visit the merchant company first, because we need to buy the stimulants somewhere, right? Finally, we're here. As you can see, you can buy here both stimulants and boosters, which will be hugely useful during your whole career. Boosters are items which improve your stats for one expedition, like that shovel we used last time. However, we are here today for the stimulants. We're interested only in buying a box of gin for Robert Mond and the rest of your crew. Why? Stimulants like this will help them avoid getting new fear, but certain stimulant works only on those explorers who fancy this certain stimulant. Now please, buy the gin.
That almost sounded like a desperate plea, didn't it? Buy the gin.
It's very important to avoid phobias, because sadly, they can't be cured. But I think we have wasted enough time. Let's start a brand new expedition, but this time it will be a real thing. For every random quest, you will have a time limit. Prepare yourself, and let's go.
I mean, whatever you say.
Next expedition. Keep in mind that the difficulty of every random quest on your voyage depends on reward in reputation points and money, recompense, and even on required explorers. The higher the reward, the more difficult the journey. Same with recompense. With required explorers, it's opposite. Choose wisely and don't blame fate. After all, it's your decision.
So I don't know, on this globe, what are these supposed to be representing here? That kind of looks like the sun, that looks like a desert, and I'm not going to say what this looks like, but it does not look continent or country-like to me. Treasure hunt or into the jungle. I do like the fact that we're being advised by a little cub. I'm not entirely sure if that's because they did talk about, mental illness being a running theme. Not entirely sure if that is like a, a little subtle on the fact that I'm talking to an inanimate cup. I mean, archaeologists do their best thinking whilst drinking. Let's go on the treasure hunt. Requires 5 explorers. Okie dokie. So let's send out our new guy. Let's send out Robert. Possibly not you. Oh, can't remove people, apparently. Okay. Gin. Gin isn't as old as other stimulants. We can even say it's relatively new and fresh. The earliest known written references to this drink appears in the 13th century in the encyclopedia work called De Naturen Bloeme. It is made in today's Bruges in Belgium, but the earliest known recipe for gin is from Antwerp, created in the 16th century. The biggest lie about gin is it was invented by the Dutch physician, Franciscus Sylvius in the mid-17th century. It was popularised when Dutch was so proud of their work with newly invented medicament. They export it to England, where new commodity sold very quickly. London diarist Samuel Pepys described it as strong water made with juniper. Later on, it became more and more popular among British soldiers. Word gin is shortened from the Old English term Genever, which originates from the French Genevier and Dutch Genever. Old English term, yes. Not Old English, don't get those confused. Some of the grammar in that particular description of gin was not the best, which made it, that's why it's quite difficult to read. I do have to say, I do really like these animations. They are really, really nice, but I do wonder what they're supposed to be representing. Exploration, eh? Okay, I guess we're going to have to send... Oh, we did succeed. But got nothing from it, apparently. Archaeology and exploration. Let's send... our faithful leader. Archaeology and history. And I think Casnola's probably the person for the job. No critical successes, or whatever they called them before. We haven't found anything new yet. Survival. I mean, no one here is massively great on survival. But you, my friend, are slightly less terrible. Oh, but we did succeed. Obviously, the gin is working wonders. And our final failure on the last one. Well, 4 out of 5. 5 isn't bad. 4 out of 5 ain't bad.
Ah, we spent a great time together, but unfortunately, I must leave you for now. I'm very proud of you, so remember to be brave, to experiment, and if something is unclear, just ask me. Literally, click on me, and I will show you our Archipedia. It's the best source of knowledge. Farewell, my good friend.
So we increased in reputation and we made a bit of money. That was not bad at all. And now we travel home. So, we have learnt the basics. Archeo Museum learnt the basic. Archeo Museum has no idea how to build a hotel. Archeo Museum is going to experiment with mechanics to learn more. Am I? That is nice. So did we do... So we did tutorial basics and tutorial management. Oh, so we did basics. We can now do management. So let's see where this tutorial takes us then.
Hello again. Would you be so kind and open ranking and charts?
Okie dokie.
To be better at the management of your team, you should check the forecast to learn more about upcoming expeditions. You can find and check here upcoming expeditions, 1 per round. You will receive a new forecast every 10 rounds for the next 10 rounds, depending on difficulty. In this specific situation, we are currently in round 4, and you can check upcoming 6 expeditions. Please check the expedition from round 5.
Okay.
As you can see, there will be an archaeology expedition in the next round. Let's say we have a good archaeology team, and we will get that money. Of course, there will be more expeditions to choose from, but the forecast shows you just one of them. With this information, you can plan better your next moves.
Guess that kind of represents doing a bit of research, a bit of desk space survey.
Hey, you know what? I got an idea. I want you to buy land on a land auction. Now when we know that we will have a way to get more money in the next round, we can bid on a land auction. Please, let's go to the Property Management tab. What you see here is a simplified version of the map of our region. From here you are able to buy, sell and manage the lands. Up there you can check the current land selling price and charts with the history of bids and prices. Let's see if it's worth your time and money.
Okay. Let's have a look then.
Schedule. You can see which land will be on auction in which round. It works similar to the forecasts. 10 auctions. After the 10th one, you get a new schedule from another real estate broker. Please check the land from round 6. Every land has its own statistics.
Bishop's Coast.
Fertility means its land is fertile, if you can grow there some plants, or if it's just beautiful. Population density means if there lives a lot of people and urbanisation. The impact of industry on the land. And this land is just a big warehouse due to its very high urbanisation and low fertility and population density. We don't want that. Let's go back to the Property tab. Let's check the current auction. This shady gentleman next to stock is your middleman. You can participate in local auctions by yourself, and you can give him instructions only once per round. Go on, we don't have all day.
Alright, don't get pushy.
Well, well, well. That's not the best possible land, but it has some potential. Let's try to buy it. I think you can bid it for something about £500. Normally you can always check the land's selling price and the charts to decide how much you need to bid, but this time it's on me.
Okay. But I don't go too crazy.
Now let's check the lands which we own. You can build a lot of useful buildings on your lands. For example, there is a casino which will generate some income. Or else you can build your very own luxury cruise steamboat. Why? Because it's...
Yeah, definitely very Victorian and Edwardian approach.
You decrease your employees' salaries by giving them the opportunity to relax on this fancy ship.
That's an interesting. So incentives and perks.
The train station will expand the capacity of your equipment, which you can take on expeditions. And in addition to that, it will bring you another expedition option on the globe in every round. Please select the train station.
Train station sounds like a fine idea.
Every building has its optimal conditions. For the train station, it's low urbanisation. If it's optimal, you will get 2 new slots for your boosters and stimulants, and 1 optional expedition. But if the urbanisation is too high, you will get only the optional expedition. You can check here the optimal conditions for every building, but for now, just build the train station.
There isn't too much space for luggage, stimulants and boosters, but there could be more. With every new train station, you get new optional. You get a new optional expedition every turn. Let's go for it then.
Alrighty then. As you know, every important property should have a manager who will be in charge. We have a great staff, but there's only one man who is fit for this role. It's Robert Mond.
Robert Mond, eh? But he's my best archaeologist.
I've prepared one more land for you, but this time you can build whatever you want. Take your time and pick something. Oh, and you should probably know that every building needs 1 round to start generating value. The new hotel will give you more space in the next round when the rooms are ready, and the coffee plantation needs time to grow coffee.
Coffee plantation sounds like a good idea. But let's have a look. Building a coffee plantation will provide yourself with a solid portion of energy, and all thanks to freshly coffee delivery every turn. That is tempting. Coffee, second best city. Tobacco plantation will provide you with the best tobacco on the market, and it will be very helpful during your archaeologist journey. There they do spell archaeologist with an A. There is no consistency here. It's good that it's the correct way to spell it, but and also during your archaeologist journey. Again, grammar being a bit. Gin distillery, we already know we like gin. You need an alcohol. Build a gin distillery and provide yourself with the best gin you can possibly get. You will need it for sure. Maybe a bit more proofreading needed in this. Or if it's a translation error from somewhere, maybe just, a bit better proofreading. And that's the American spell of neighbour as well. If your neighbours have enough money, you can build the casino. It's the best investment you can do. Medium cost, very high return. It's like a dream. Hotel. Every self-respecting investor just has to build a hotel. This means prestige, which provides you with respect, better position, and of course more quarters for your employees. We already know about the train station. Training centre. Champions train, losers complain. The training centre allows you to train your cadets better for lower price. Cadets? Where the cadets come from? Exclusive club. Do you know what exclusivity means? Sure you do. With this building, you will attract more explorers on the labour markets, and probably can decrease your manager's salary. Interesting. Museum. You see, this is what we should have. The best way to save artifacts, you can put everything you care about into a museum and later turn it into better reputation. That is very expensive though. Cruise steamboat. A new invention that allows us to discover new horizons of tourism and decrease your employer's salary. Well known for attracting legendary explorers. I'm going to be a good self-respecting archaeologist. The next thing I'm going to buy is, in fact, a museum. So let's buy a museum.
We can't assign a manager to your new building because we need at least 5 explorers in the field. It's the common rule, and you should remember that. But you can always hire someone. There's also a second way to cut the number of managers. Please go back to the property management map. All the lands are arranged in districts. One district has 4 lands. If you have all 4 lands from one district, then you can use only one manager to maintain all the 4 lands. It's the best way to save some money, but also it's not an easy task to gather all lands from one district. Your opponents, if possible,
Bit of Monopoly in this game as well. bit of hotel tycoon, a bit of Monopoly.
Important about property management, but you still need some experience.
Or any of the tycoon games, really.
Always check the optimal conditions and don't bid too much. Good luck, my friends.
So we're now a property management expert. Archaeo Museum has learnt how to manage properties. Archaeo Museum has no idea how to get favours from the gazetters. Archaeo Museums are going to experiment with mechanics to learn more. Favours, eh? So I guess we continue with the tutorial and go on to public relations. It has quite a nice soundtrack as well. I do like that.
Great power. Any word printed there is much more important than any other thing today, truth included. That's why it is important to give them the exclusive license for your stories from the last expedition. In return, each editorial office offers you favours.
Okie dokie.
First of all, for each expedition, you get an exclusive license for your story. You can give it to one of the 3 gazettes or share it with everybody. The gazettes may like your story or not. It depends on your relations and your story value. You can read what the gazettes care about in their bio. Please go to the Age of Decadency journal.
Age of Decadency.
For now, the only magazine interested, half-hearted in our story is the Age of Decadency journal. They have a bad reputation, but the biggest number of readers on the market, so we should pay them a visit. Now,
Oh, so a bit like the Mail or the Sun then.
try to get a favour.
The Age of Decadency Journal. The Age of Decadency Journal is the newspaper responsible for creating new fashion amongst the aristocracy. This is something we are proud of because even the most stylish designers contact us in order to get our opinion about different clothing. Of course, we are not only interested in what rich people wear, it's a major topic for most of our editions, but we are well known for covering a lot of scandals, socially awkward calls, and happenings that have serious outcomes. Our motto says, without spicy whims, life is boring. So if you know about bizarre incidents, let us know immediately. The spirit of our newspaper is concerned with the French term fin de siècle, which expresses our widespread belief that people lead a decadent life, dooming themselves unconsciously. Do you agree with the idea? Fin de siècle, sorry. Don't worry, to each his or her own. We also have other sections which gain popularity. Art, meaning paintings, plays, sculptures. Literature, filled with pessimistic attitudes, cynicism, corruption, and decay themes. Politics, we strive to discover motivations and hidden agendas amongst the politicians as well as their egotistical behaviours. Philosophy, we try to keep up to date with the fresh ideas, notions, and mainstream thoughts. Recently, we have begun to investigate the field of archaeology, spelt this time without an A, which seems to be a fun leisure activity. Aristocracy invests a lot of money into excavation journeys since they bring many profits in the long run. Artifacts to keep as souvenirs or sell them to highest bidder. Yes, very, very much a Victorian and Edwardian approach. Kind of guessed that from the entire art style and premise of the game, but you know, this is and a very fantasy or not true reflection really of how necessarily things happened in the past, although obviously there was a very large illicit trade in antiquities in the past and unfortunately still is now. But how do they treat their employees? Do those employees cope with exploitation or do they enjoy their labours? We have conducted interviews with many explorers so that you can read about their situation. We are not afraid to reveal the secrets of wealthy men even when they are trying to bribe us with gifts. For example, a bottle of gin. We're not a force that can be bought. The Age of Decadency Journal is interested in your expedition. You receive their favour.
The Age of Decadency journal, you can use your favours to publish articles about your competitors. This should decrease their reputation, but also you can lose yours. To make sure your reputation is safe, you should publish only the anonymous satires, but it will cost you 5 favours. And for example, for 3 favours, the Age of Decadency journal will print ridiculous feuilleton about your target. In result, he or she will lose 3 points of reputation, but you also are going to lose 1 point. Each gazette offers specific actions, but there's another way to use your stories. You can share them with everybody. It will make you more popular. All 3 gazettes will treat you better, and you can get 1 point of reputation by doing it 12 times. However, every time you get the reputation point, your popularity reaches the bottom, because everybody gets tired of your stories.
Okay, that's an interesting mechanic.
Very well. You've got 1 favour.
Dealing with journalists and how you present what you're saying.
Once per round, you can also visit the Royal Chess Club. Of course, you won't be playing chess there. It's a place where you can meet and talk with chief editors from the press. However, the chess club meets only once per round, and you have 1 action with the editors. Let's go!
Don't mind a bit of chess though.
In the Royal Chess Club, you can talk to 1 out of 3 chief editors.
Do you like this smoking
You have only 1 action per round in the club.
animation? Or steam inside, steaming.
Action yet. Please, find
Unless
a
the teacup is
He the
smoking
chief
some tobacco.
editor in RAG.
Relation Impartial, Chief Editor of the Royal Archaeology Gazette.
As you can see, we have 5 favours in RAG, and I want you to use them. In Royal Chess Club, you can talk in private with the editors and make them help you on behalf of old favours. You can also give them a gift to make your relations better, but it should be the right stimulant if you want it to be appreciated. Now, use your favours.
I saw an ad for burial plots and thought to myself, this is the last thing I need.
RAG offers the opportunity to sell your artefacts on charity events. This way you will get the reputation, but no money for your findings. However, we have 5 favours, and for that, they can find you a sponsor. And this is what we are about to do here. Make Javier give you some free stuff.
Xavier or Xavier. Free stuff is always good. New items. So what we got? Coffee beans and some other jewellery. Weapons. Some hazard triangles for my car maybe. Shopping trolleys. Some footprints. Some cards. Goodness knows what that's supposed to represent. And a pie chart with a strong Wi-Fi signal by the sounds of it.
We've spent our time, and there are no more editors in the chess club. You can try it next round. Oh, and if you don't want to give them gifts or use your favours, then you can always check your relations. It will generate a report with the details about your relations and story value. It's wise to do this before you give them your exclusive license. Let's look back. You can always build your relations with a gazette by giving them, and only them, your exclusive licenses. Maybe they won't give you favours at the beginning, but the key is to build a relation, and then they will print even mediocre and maybe bad stories, just because it's yours. That's all for today. I hope you will use the gazettes to your advantage.
Archaeo Museum has learnt how to deal with the gazettes. Archaeo Museum has no idea how to deal with the black market. Well, that's probably a good thing if we're honest, but there we go. Archaeo Museum is going to continue to explore with mechanics to learn more. Indeed we are. Okay, so let us have a look at our second to last tutorial, Shady Operations. I doubt they mean cool though.
We're on the black market right now. This is the place where you can illegally trade artifacts, buy and sell. But it is quite risky, because sometimes there is a high probability that the royal police will confiscate them.
At least they make a good point, that's about illegal and the risk.
You can see a few pieces of useful information here. On the right, you can see what you can buy here and what is demanded now. On the left, there's a risk factor. The jar is about half filled, which means the risk is normal, very close to high. And in the centre, there's a margin. It's the fencer fee for selling your artefacts. We don't have any artefacts on the black market, but we have a few in equipment. Please enter it.
Okay.
Selling artefacts on the black market is always risky. Medium risk means there's more than a 10% chance of intervention, but less than 25%. The jar represents the value from 0 to 50. We have a few artefacts here. Please choose the High Priest's ring.
Okay.
If you want to send it to the black market, you have to fill agreement, accept the risk and margin, and you can slide to set the price. However, the higher the price, the worse the chances of selling it in the next round. The payout will be decreased by the margin, but only if the artifact is sold. Even if the artifact is sold 3 rounds from now, the risk is stable, and we don't want to risk to lose the artifact and reputation due to confiscation. Let's go back. If I remember correctly, we have a Greek statue, and it's on the demand. If something is demanded, then you can sell it instantly, without the risk of confiscation. Please click on the demand.
Okay.
Very well. We can sell the Greek statue without the risk, but it's always for the lowest price decreased by the margin. Go on, sell it. But don't put it on the black market. Let's cut the risk and use the demand to our advantage. However, there is another way to take advantage of artifacts. You can exchange them for reputation in your museum or on silent auctions. But you have to build your museum first, or ask Royal Archaeology Gazette to organise that event. Now, sell it.
I like the statue though, I don't want to sell it, I want to put it in a museum.
Great! Now let's talk about buying artefacts. It may be useful if you have too much money and want to generate more reputation points in your museum, or on a silent auction. It is always more pleasant to buy artefacts, because if the risk isn't high, then you don't need to worry about the Royal Police. Please, go to For Sale Artifact. Buying an artifact may be tricky. You have to agree on the risk too. But if it's not high, then you are safe. If it's high, there's a possibility that you will be caught red-handed and lose your face or money. However, it's not that simple like it is with stimulants or boosters. You have to bid artifacts, and there are other individuals bidding too, not only your opponents, but also private collectors. The artifacts get very high prices on the black market, and you probably need to bid more than the value of the artifact to even get a chance to buy it. As I have told you, this solution is for you only if you have too much money to burn. And to get the idea how much an artifact is worth, you probably need to know that from your findings. If you don't know how much worth is a mummy, then you probably shouldn't bid. But we will. I want you to bid something about £600, and don't forget to fill the risk agreement.
Nice if it actually had a bit where you could type it in rather than rely on sliding. Okay, 597 is close.
The outcome of your bid and regular sales will come to you with the mail. If it was confiscated, then you will get a choice to lose the artifact and only 1 point of reputation, or to save it but lose 2 points of reputation. With buying artifacts, it's similar, but you lose artifacts or 1 point of reputation. The demanded artifact was sold and you got your money instantly. The black market won't tell you who bought the artifact and how much it cost. You need to experiment and learn the values with time. Selling an artifact on the black market is risky, and if so, you should wait for the right demand. Deciding to sell an artifact which isn't demanded is a tough decision and should be made only if you really need money. The confiscation risk is always the same, and it's wise not to risk with cheap artifacts. And remember, the right place for your artifacts isn't on the black market. But if you need some cash, then why not?
At least they bought that up. That is good. At least that is something. Talking about the high risk games and also the, that is not the place. But it's obviously an interesting game mechanic, and that's important to understand, and also to show that there are these issues and that it is actually a good education in a way of the illicit trade of artifacts, as we say, which is unfortunately still far too prevalent today. So I guess actually if you view it as a teaching exercise, that is fine, and thumbs up to the game for doing that. It also makes a more interesting game mechanic. But there we go. That's where I'm going to view it anyway. That's where I'm going to view it. So the Archaeogaming Museum learns about how to sell artifacts on the black market. Archaeogaming Museum still has no idea on how to use legendary explorers. So we shall continue. I think we've got one more tutorial left. Video's now over an hour, really? Crikey. Didn't realise it'd been that long. Time for, obviously, a fun game. We're having fun.
Strategy and advanced manoeuvres. Let's begin. Please go to the porters.
Let's go and see what people are up to.
We have here a legendary explorer, Vasco da Gama. Legendary explorers are super useful. They can take 2 actions during one expedition. They are very rare, and it would be wise to add as many as possible legendary explorers to your team. Please click on him and show us his details. Legendary explorers have golden frames and they need 2 stimulants. If you give them only 1, then it won't have any effect on them.
Apparently we're also time travellers as well.
Of the second action during the expedition. What's more interesting, legendary explorers always come with 1 great skill, like exploration in this case. Now, how to get a
legendary explorers have good exploration. I know what they mean, but it's still a little bit funny. Vasco da Gama, the first explorer who sailed directly from Europe to India. Thanks to him, Europeans know what cinnamon is.
They will do a competition and find a legendary explorer for you. The second way is to convince the legendary explorers that they want to work for you. You can do it by building and managing exclusive club and cruise steamboat. Let's improve Vasco's skills. When Explorer has a fully developed skill, like Vasco's exploration, then 1 out of 3 available skills to learn is closed. This applies to all the Explorers, Standard and Legendary. When an Explorer has 3 skills fully developed, then you cannot teach him anything more. It's very important for 2 reasons. First, it's wise to keep your options available. Any explorer with a fully developed skill means that you won't have such a wide choice about his further development, or you will have to wait longer for selected lessons. Second, if an explorer already has fears which significantly decrease his main skill, then his maximum efficiency is also lower, and soon he won't be able to deal with hard expeditions. Now, select a lesson for Vasco.
Go with survival, I think. It seems sensible.
Such expensive, right? Let's do some math. If you want to distill your own gin, then you need land, a gin distillery, and a manager. Let's say good land costs £1,000, the distillery costs £400, and the manager's salary is about £200. And this is probably a very good scenario. Your 1 unit of gin is going to cost you £200 per round, but you also need to invest £1,400. This way, if you will get gin for 25 rounds, the average price for a unit will be £256. Now, proceed to the merchant company. Good old merchant company. You may not know that, but the merchant company is always trying to screw you. They will increase the prices by £10 every time you buy a unit of a stimulant. But what's more interesting, they will significantly increase the price of a bought stimulant for everyone in the next round. This way, you can make stimulants to cost more for your opponents. But let's go back to our math and distillery, shall we? The average price of a stimulant on the merchant company is about £300 per unit. However, you don't need to buy it every round. If you are looking for a good deal, you can buy a few units for the average price lower than £250. And what was the average price of a unit from our distillery? £256. But let's say you have to buy stimulants for £300 because it's the average price. This means that the distillery saved you only £1,100 in 25 rounds. However, you can always sell the land with the distillery and get an average of £800 from it.
Again, interesting. Okay.
Math tells us that one can save money on plantations and distilleries, especially when you have very good land, and sometimes it will generate the second unit of a stimulant. But is it a good investment for your money? One should keep in mind that even if an investment is profitable in the long term, it may be better to keep the money or invest it in something else. Let's visit property management. You should be aware that freezing money for a long time generates the risk of bankruptcy. May the example with Gin Distillery be a lesson for you, my friend. However, not bidding on lands is bad too. Some of your opponents will try to buy lands cheaper than land selling price just to sell them with profit. Of course, you can try to do the same thing, but if you can afford to bid the land selling price, you can stop your opponents from buying lands and building structures. Also, keeping money in lands isn't a bad idea because the land value usually increases over time. I'm tired. Let's go back.
That was quite a lot to take in.
What I'm trying to say is that you should keep your money tight and spend it only if there's a good opportunity. If you have secured 2 or 3 paychecks in advance, you can invest in something, but remember what you need. Please open rankings and charts. Do you see your progress here? Your reputation? It means nothing if you're bankrupt. Everything that you are trying to do will be wasted if you don't pay your liabilities. Every time you take a risk, remember, you can lose it all with one reckless decision. Always think before acting. Now, let's proceed to the forecast tab. As you can see, I've placed 3 labels here: stone, bronze, and iron, like those ages. In the Stone Age, some tasks were beyond people's capability, such as 2 hard expeditions, but also actions like investing in expensive artifacts on the black market. During the Bronze Age, there were much more options, but people usually risked too much and never reached the Iron Age. And like in the Bronze Age, there's a lot of opportunities for you to invest and risk your money. However, in the Iron Age, there were a lot of wars and tragedies. It wasn't a good time for taking any risk, and the history was written by survivors of these tough days.
Interesting analogy. Interesting analogy to describe game mechanics. Interesting. I won't tell you I necessarily entirely agree with the analogies as such, but it's a good way of doing it, I guess. Interesting.
I believe there's a lesson for you. Maybe it's not the best to divide those periods in equal time frames, but I bet you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes it's better to survive and fix the situation later than end up forgotten. What does it mean for you? Let's go to the Reports tab. Maybe I had something in mind writing those labels too, but I don't remember now. You can try to interpret it on your own later. Now please, open the report 05AE.
Zenith Dusk.
Look, during this expedition, there was a random quest for Archaeology Plus for 2 explorers. Sometimes it's better not to send anybody to save your people for later. In that team, only 1 explorer had high archaeology, and he was used during the second random quest. That explorer would fail the first random quest because there were no other good archaeologists on the expedition. and these explorers used their skills in the last random quest, which wasn't archaeology. It was a difficult expedition, which should be a failure. However, if you see that the task is beyond your team's capability, then you can just wait. You shouldn't pick such expeditions in the first place if you don't have a good team for it. But if you want to risk, then don't expect too much from your team.
Good advice. Good advice.
And if there are only 2 hard expeditions for your team, you can always pick the one with the best recompense to withstand some time and wait for better things to come. That's all from me. You're already better than me and know more about the expeditions. Create your own tactics, adapt and shine. Maybe one day you will let me shine with you. Now, I best be getting about my watch.
That sounded very dodgy where you said that. Archaeo Museum has learnt about legendary explorers. Archaeo Museum still don't know how Copy knew all these things. Again, grammar's a bit dodgy. Copy hopes that one day she will shine like Archaeo Museum. Well, there you go. That is the tutorial completed. So as this is already quite a long video, I don't think we'll jump into a campaign in this video, but we will kick that off next week, probably Friday as well, where we will start a campaign and see if we can remember any of the advice we were given throughout that tutorial. So what are your thoughts on the tutorial and the way the mechanics were described? Have you played Archeo Shinar before? Leave me a comment and let me know what you think, and also of any tips and tricks you may have. My thoughts so far, I mean, it's definitely got that archaeology Edwardian antiquarian feel, sort of nods to things like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider, and is very tongue-in-cheek. There does seem to be a lot of mechanics in there, some of which maybe at the moment don't necessarily, they're not entirely sure why they're necessary. Like the land game just seems slightly unnecessary. They could maybe put something else in there to represent reputation and other money and sort of generating other money, maybe more things like stock markets or things like that, or just something a bit different. So that'll be something very interesting. Obviously, the black market or the illicit trade market is an interesting mechanic to include, although they do give the advice that objects shouldn't end up on the black market, and as I said, I like to view this as a tool of showing why black market trades or illicit trades in antiquities are bad, not just due to the personal risk, but also it's not where the objects belong. So again, it looks to be a very interesting game. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in the next video. If you've enjoyed this video, then please check out some others on the channel. There will be, at some point on the screen, some links to some playlists and videos. And if you've enjoyed those as well, please think about liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell to find out when we will upload next. As I said, we will be continuing with this, and there'll be some more RuneScape archaeology videos coming soon. It's just those take a bit more preparation than sort of just jumping in and playing Archeo Shinar. So Archeo Shinar is almost like a little break between those things as well. And hopefully I've got some other more slightly different videos coming up in the next couple of months as well. So keep an eye out for those. Until next time, take care and goodbye.